Students, welcome to Ask That. My name is Gaganambi. Today, we'll continue with the second chapter of class 11, that is structure of atom. So, in the previous class, we discussed about the atomic models, the structure of atom, and different electrons and all. We studied about the different models of electrons and all, their discovery and all. So, in today's class, we'll further move on to the next scientist who discovered the nuclear model of an atom. So we studied atomic model. Now we are studying nuclear model of an atom. So the Rutherford was a scientist who discovered the nuclear model of an atom. So what did he say, Rutherford? Basically, the positive charge and the mass of the atom is densely concentrated in extremely small region. So this small portion of the atom is called nucleus. As it is densely concentrated and it holds all the positive charge, it is called nucleus. And this nucleus is surrounded by electrons which move around the nucleus with a very high speed in circular paths called orbits. So what happened? This nucleus, as it is surrounded by electrons, it moves around the nucleus. These electrons start revolving around the nucleus, and this revolving path is called orbit. And he resembled this as to the solar system. How solar system, sun plays a major role, and the planets are revolving around it. In the same way, he took the sun as a nucleus and the electrons as the planets revolving around the sun. And these electrons and nucleus are held together by electrostatic force of attraction. So then what are the drawbacks of Rutherford's model of an atom? According to electromagnetic theory of Maxwell, so electromagnetic theory was proposed by Maxwell. So Maxwell stated that when charged particles are moved or accelerated, it should emit some electromagnetic radiation. So this cannot be proposed, or it cannot be shown by planets because they are not charged, they are uncharged species. Whereas in atom, as electrons are negatively charged, they show the revolving property. The electromagnetic radiation emitted when they are accelerated. So, if an electron in an orbit will emit radiation and it moves to the electronic motion, that is, the motion of an electron is called electronic motion. As a result of the motion, the orbit will continue to shrink as the electrons start emitting the radiation, that is the electromagnetic radiation. And the calculation, what does the calculation show? That it should electron should take only 10 power minus 8 seconds to revolve around the nucleus or to undergo one rotation. So but exactly this do not happen, and this was not explained by the Rutherford, as Rutherford model did not explain about the stability of an atom. So at what speed the electron revolve around the nucleus, I couldn't explain. And how the electrons are arranged inside the nucleus, around the nucleus, how the electrons are arranged, and about the protons, how many protons exactly are present in the nucleus and all, he couldn't explain. And what are the energy of the electron which is present around the nucleus also couldn't be explained by Rutherford. So the next is the developments which led to the formation of the Bohr's model of an atom, as Rutherford model was a failure. So in the Bohr's model, what did Bohr observe? So with the interaction of the electromagnetic radiation regarding with the help of the structure of atoms and molecules, that he utilized this Rutherford model, and he gave the dual electromagnetic, that is the character is dual. Electromagnetic radiation has both character, that is wave nature and particle nature. And the experiments regarding the atomic spectra was explained by the quantized electron energy levels in atoms. So the next concept is wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. So James Maxwell was the first to give comprehensive explanation about the interaction between the charged bodies and the behavior of electrical and magnetic fields on macroscopic level. The electrically charged particle moves under acceleration. So what happens? Alternating electric and magnetic fields are produced and they are transmitted. These fields are transmitted in the form of waves called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiation. As these waves moves in the form of alternating electric and magnetic field, they are called the electromagnetic waves. So then what are the properties of electromagnetic radiation? So the first property is about the oscillating electric and magnetic field, which is produced by the charged particles, and these charged particles are perpendicular to each other. As they are perpendicular to each other, they are also perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of the wave. How sound waves are produced in water, as they do not require any medium. It is also an electromagnetic wave and it can move even in vacuum. And electromagnetic, it is a spectrum. A spectrum consisting of radiation where each differ in wavelength or frequency. So, depends upon the wavelength and the frequency, the radiation varies in the electromagnetic spectrum. So, the units which are used to represent the electromagnetic radiations are, these radiations are characterized by the properties, namely frequency and wavelength. The SI unit for frequency is Hertz and it is named after the scientist Heinrich Hertz. And frequency is defined as the number of waves that pass through a given point in 1 second. So in vacuum, all types of electromagnetic radiations, regardless of wavelength, travel at the same speed. That is 3 into 10 power minus 8 meter per second. Irrespective of the wavelength, the electromagnetic radiation travel with the same speed. And this is called speed of the light and it is represented by a symbol c. The frequency, wavelength and velocity of light are given by the equation, as these three plays a very important role in determining the electromagnetic spectrum. They are grouped together and they are given by an equation, that is c is equals to nu lambda. C is the velocity of light, nu is the frequency and lambda is the wavelength. So these are the colors which are present in the visible spectrum: a violet, blue, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So based upon the intensities of the wavelengths, different colors are emitted by the electromagnetic spectrum. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. They are grouped according to the increasing wave number of wavelengths. That is, if radio waves is 10 to the power of 3, microwave is 10 power minus 2, infrared is 10 power minus 5, and visible is 10 power 6, ultraviolet is 10 power minus 8, X-ray is 10 power minus 10, and gamma rays is 10 power minus 12. This is how the ray is. And here the waves are very closely packed. But here, as the wavelength is more, the length of the wave is more here in these regions, it is farly present. It is farly grouped. The frequency is 10 power 4, it is 10 power 12, here it is 10 power 50, 60, 10 power 80 and 10 power 20. This is how it is related. Different regions of the spectrum are identified by different names. So some examples are radio frequency region around 10 per 6 hertz. It is used for broadcasting, as we see in the radios and all. We listen, that is through the radio waves we can hear to radio. So the next is wave number. So wave number is defined as the number of wavelengths per unit length, and its units are reciprocal of wavelength, that is per meter, and it is written as per centimeter. The next, still now we studied wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. So the next one is particle nature. According to the particle nature, Planck's quantum theory, the nature of emission of radiation from hot bodies. So that is called black body radiation. Ejection of electrons from metal surface when radiation strikes it. This is called photoelectric effect. Variation of heat capacity of solids as a function of temperature, and line spectra patterns with respect to the hydrogen. So the next is the first concept we have studied here is in the particle nature, that is black body radiation. So what is black body? Any body which emits and absorbs radiation of all the frequencies uniformly. This is called black body, and the radiation which is emitted by such a body is called black body radiation. And this black body is a cavity, and it is with a tiny hole, and it has no other opening, and the ray will enter through the pole and it is reflected within the walls of the cavity, and then it is absorbed. First it is reflected, then it is absorbed, and this black body is called a perfect radiator of radiant energy, as it can absorb any sort of radiations, and it is also in thermal equilibrium with its surroundings. So surroundings doesn't impact its effect, and it also radiates same amount of energy per unit area as it absorbs from its surroundings in any given time. The amount of light is emitted which is from the black body, and its spectral distribution, it only depends upon its temperature. At a given temperature, intensity of radiation emitted increases with the increase of wavelength. So, as the radiation intensity increases, the wavelength also increases, and it reaches a maximum value at a given wavelength, and it start decreasing with further increase in the wavelength. So, first it increases, then it reaches the maximum, then it decreases. So, if the temperature is more, maxima of the curve shift to shorter wavelength, and if the temperature is decreasing, the maxima of the curve shifts to longer wavelength. So, many attempts are being made to check the intensity of radiation as a function of wavelength. But the result of the above experiment, it could not be explained satisfactorily on the basis of the wave theory of light. So the next is Planck's quantum theory. So what did Planck assume that? So Planck assumed that absorption and emission of radiation, it arises from the oscillator, that is the atoms from the wall of the black body. So he assumed the wall of the black body itself acts as a black body. So the frequency of oscillation is changed by interaction with the oscillators of electromagnetic radiation. See how the frequency is varied with the help of the oscillation of the electromagnetic radiation. And he assumed that the radiation can be further subdivided into discrete chunks of energy. So you can break up the radiation. And he even suggested that atoms and molecules They emit or absorb energy only in discrete quantities and not in continuous manner. So it could not produce in continuous manner, only in a different intervals or in discrete manners. So he gave the name quantum to the smallest quantity of energy which can be emitted or absorbed in the form of electromagnetic radiation. The energy of quantum of radiation is proportional to its frequency, and it is given by the equation E is equals to h nu. And the proportionality constant h is known as Planck's constant, and it has the value 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. And the Planck was also able to explain the distribution of intensity in the radiation from black body as a function of frequency or wavelength at different temperatures. So, with the help of the black body, he gave a conclusion about the how the intensity of the different wavelengths of radiation in electromagnetic spectrum are identified. See, for an example, a person can stand or any on any step of a staircase, but it is not possible for him or her to stand in between the two steps. He cannot stand. Either he can stand on one or he have to lay down the another one. In the same way, energy can take only one values from the set. It cannot lie in between the any two. That is in the form of decimal and all, or in the form of fraction. You cannot write energies. So E is equals to 0, h nu, 2 h nu, 3 h nu, up to it continues up to n h nu. These are called the quantization, as we are converting the energies in the form of quantums, or it has a discrete units, and it is called quantizations of energies. And Hertz, he performed a very interesting experiment in which electrons were emitted when certain metals such as potassium, cesium, rubidium were exposed to light. This phenomenon is called photoelectric effect, as he bombarded the radioactive elements along with the alkali metals. They emit light, and this effect of emitting light is called photo in presence of electricity, that is called photoelectric effect. So then what are the results of an experiment? How this experiment took place? The electrons are ejected from the clean metal surface as soon as the beam of light strikes from the surface. So there is no time lag between the striking of light and the ejection of electron from the metal surface. So there is no gap in between the striking of light. They both occur simultaneously, as their ejection of electron takes place from the atom or the element. In the same way, the light also passes. The number of photoelectrons ejected is proportional to intensity of the light or brightness of the light. So, how much electrons are ejected? It is proportional to the brightness of the light. So much the light is bright. For each metal, there is a characteristic minimum frequency nu naught, which is called the threshold frequency. It causes the photoelectric effect. If nu is less than nu naught, then the photoelectric effect do not takes place. Nu is the threshold frequency and nu naught is the minimum frequency. So if threshold frequency is less than the minimum frequency, the photoelectric effect doesn't occur. If nu is greater than nu naught, then photoelectric effect takes place, and photoelectron has a particular kinetic energy. If nu is equals to nu naught, then photoelectric effect takes place, but photoelectron has zero kinetic energy. So if threshold frequency is greater than the minimum frequency, the photoelectric effect takes place and the photoelectron has a kinetic energy. If both are equal, that is the threshold energy and the minimum frequency, the effect takes place, but the photoelectron do not have any kinetic energy because as they are equal. So kinetic energy of photoelectron depends upon the frequency of the radiation which is striking the metal surface and is independent of intensity of radiation. So this kinetic energy majorly depends upon the how much the frequency is striking the metal surface, and it is also does not depend upon the intensity of the radiation. So the kinetic energy of the photoelectron is given by K is equals to half mp square is equals to h multiplied into mu minus mu naught. So this photoelectric effect is the evidence of the particle nature of light. So the next one is photoelectric effect by Einstein. So this photoelectric effect was explained by Einstein. With the help of quantum theory of electromagnetic radiation, photoelectric effect was explained. When metal surface is irradiated with the light of certain frequency called threshold frequency, the energy is transferred to the electrons from the metal atom. So when a metal surface is struck with certain frequency, that frequency is called threshold frequency, and the energy of the radiation is transferred to the electrons of the metal atom, and this results in ejection of electron. So as it results in the ejection of electron, these electrons are called photoelectrons because it takes place in presence of light. Let the energy of the radiation be E is equals to h nu. Nu is the frequency which is greater than mu naught, that is threshold frequency. Some amount of the energy transferred is required to overcome the electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and the valential electron. This energy is called work function. So, if the energy which is required to overcome the electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and the valential, this is called the work function. So, the remaining energy is called the kinetic energy, that is with the ejected electron. Then, hence, the total energy which is absorbed by the metal atom is the sum of the work function and the kinetic energy. H nu is equals to work function plus kinetic energy. H nu is W, that is work, plus half mv squared. So work function, it is related to threshold frequency as W is equals to h nu naught. H is Planck's constant. Nu naught is the minimum frequency. Half mv square is equals to h nu minus h nu naught. You have to group nu minus nu naught as 1. You can take the common factor h. H into c, that is 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught. So where m is the mass of the electron, v is the velocity of the photoelectron. Greater the intensity of the radiation, higher is the photoelectric current. So the next is atomic spectra. The speed of the light depends upon the nature of the medium through which the light passes. So, if the nature of the medium is the major factor which depends upon the speed of the light. If you pass a white light through the prism, the wave of the shorter wavelength, it bends more than the one with the longer wavelength. So, and the way white light is spread into series of colored bands called spectra. The light of the red light has the longest wavelength, into this deviate the least, while the white deviated the most. The spectrum of white light, it is ranging from violet at 7.50 into 10 power 14 hertz to red at 4 into 10 power 14 hertz is called continuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum because violet turns to blue and blue turns to green, green turns to orange. In the same way, it continues because that is why the violet has the shorter wavelength, red has the longer wavelength. The next one is emission and absorption spectra. The spectrum of radiation emitted by a substance which has absorbed energy is called emission spectra. So, suppose if it absorbs energy, then it is emission spectrum. Atoms, molecules which have absorbed radiation are said to be excited. So, if the atom is said to be excited, then what happens? It has absorbed some radiation. In an emission spectrum, energy is supplied to a sample by heating it or irradiating it. So, if energy has to be supplied to the sample, we have to either heat it or irradiate it, and the wavelength of the radiation emitted is also more as the sample absorbs energy and we can absorb the emitted radiation wavelength. The absorption spectrum is like the photographic negative of the emission spectrum. So, it is just the opposite of the absorption spectrum. If a continuous radiation is passed through a sample which absorbs radiation at certain wavelength, the wavelength corresponding to the radiation which is absorbed by the matter leave dark spaces in the continuous spectrum. So, if it leaves the dark spaces in the bright continuous spectrum, we can observe that that is the missing wavelength there. And this study of emission or absorption spectra is known as spectroscopy. So, this study of science of emission or absorption spectra is known as the spectroscopy. The emission of atoms in the gas space shows a continuous spread of wavelength from red to violet. Rather, it emits light only specific wavelength with dark spaces. Either the wavelength flies from red to violet, or if it reaches that wavelength, it can only produce dark spaces in between them. So that spectra is called line spectra or atomic spectra because the emitted radiation is identified by the appearance of the bright lines. So if any bright lines are appeared in the spectra, that is called the radiation emitted. And this line emission spectra are of great interest in the electronic structure of the atoms. We can study with the help of the line emission spectra, as each element has unique line emission spectra. And this line emission spectra is used to analysis in the fingerprint analysis, where the unknown persons and the forensic and all, with the help of the spectrum, we can analyze the difference with the help of the variations. And this exact matching of the lines of the emission spectra of the atoms with the known elements with the unknown sample. You know the general standard value of the wavelengths of the absorbed atom, and with the unknown sample, if you measure 2, you can identify the spectrum or what the radiation absorbed by the atom. So, elements like rubidium, cesium, thallium, indium, gallium and scandium were discovered when the minerals were analyzed with the help of the spectroscopic methods. When an electric discharge is passed through gaseous hydrogen, the H2 molecules dissociate and the energetically excited hydrogen atoms emit high electromagnetic spectrum of discrete frequency. So through a gaseous hydrogen, if you pass an electric charge, the atom starts exciting with the help of the radiations produced. So this is called the hydrogen spectrum or the spectral series. So when hydrogen is excited, it returns back to the ground state by emitting energy which is already absorbed by it. And this energy is given out by atom in the form of radiations of different wavelengths as electron jumps from higher orbit to lower orbit. So thank you for listening this lecture, and if you have any doubts, feel free to comment below.